Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing another deck profile, this time on my Royal Paladin Sanctuary Guard Dragon deck. It's been such a long time since I actually bought a Royal Paladin deck, because I'm an edgelord, but with Sanctuary Guard Dragon looking awesome, I just had to build it. With the new restand ability, with the Daigo expansion set and all that. Too bad there was no Pendragon, which is disappointing, but it just looked awesome that I just had to build it. So let's begin with what force type that you want to choose. Force 1. Sanctuary Guard's first ability makes your crit set as 2, so you mainly want to play it Force 1 because of this. You can go for a double Force 2 rear guard play if you want, but I still recommend Force 1 because Sanctuary Guard Dragon also lacks power, so I recommend Force 1 because you need the power. So let's begin with the deck profile. And we start off with, of course, Sanctuary Guard Dragon. So its ability is, if both players are at grade 3 or more, which is very likely, of course, this card's crit becomes 2. So that's the main reason why I said Force 1. And you're going to be lacking power because of its second skill, where at the end of the battle, this card attacks, you can counterblast 1, rest 3 of your back row units, and you also have to be unboosted too, just keep that in mind, and stand this card. And then your whole front row gets plus 10k. So you lose 3 boosters, your whole front row gets plus 10k, so it kind of makes up for it, but that's still pretty low on power. So this is why you really want to play Force 1 in this deck, because you're going to be lacking in power advantage, and that's the main reason. Also, the main reason why I'm playing this deck, because it's a restand, crit of 2, dragons. And then to continue off, your next grade 3 option can literally be anything, but I'm choosing, at the moment, Alt Mile until Jewel Knight Ashley comes out, because I want to have a first ride option, and there's really no other good option than Alt Mile to be your first turn ride, so I chose Alt Mile. There's really no reason why you shouldn't really play Alt Mile in some cases, but Alt Mile can search for 2 grade 2s from your deck, and you will be using up all your counterblast too in this deck easily, so that extra power will come in handy, and that's another reason why to play them. That's it for the grade 3s, because you don't really need that many. So now to the grade 2s, you play the new Winston. So Winston helps out with some of the power problems with Sanctuary Guard, so of course you would run 4. And because its first skill, where when it attacks with your Vanguard Sanctuary Guard, for every grade 1 rear guards you have, it gets plus 5k. And because Sanctuary Guard requires 3 anyway, you're going to gain 15k most of the time. But it also has a second skill where it's basically a weaker version of Leofold, where one plays, counterblast 1, look at top 7 for a grade 1 and call it. Weaker version of Leofold, but hey, you need your grade 1, so you do want your Winston. And also the power gain is very necessary, because this deck does lack a bit of attack power. And then for some retire options, Blaster Blade, because Blaster Blade, and it's also a backup ride. I played the 3 Liberots because you can search for any grade 2. No reason why you shouldn't be running this. You could run 1 less if you want. And then here's another card that you can probably take out for something else, but this card's just really good for your early game plays. Great Sage Baron. When one of your units attacks, it gets plus 5k. And if it happens to be a grade 3, you can counterblast 1 to retire this unit and give it 1 crit until the end of turn. So, say you went second and you attack with Sanctuary Guard Dragon. Your opponent's at 3 damage, and your opponent's of grade 3, of course. This is going to be crit of 2. You can use this card's skill to make this card a permanent crit of 3 for the turn. That's 3 crits and 3 crits in the face while your opponent's at 3 damage. So, this is for early game purposes, really nothing else. The extra power is only for 1 battle, but you really only play this for the early game crit, and that's about it. And it's also searchable with Lava Rot, so you don't need to really run that many. So that's it for my grade 2 lineup. Now for my grade 1 lineup, I run the Ben Ezel. So this one has a generic search ability when on place on Vanguard. Search your grade 2 or grade 3 ride chain, aka Winston or Sanctuary Guard. But its second skill, of course, is a rear guard skill. When your Sanctuary Guard Dragon attacks, you can have it gain plus 10k power until the end of the battle. And if you have no face-up counterblasts, you can countercharge. The ability of this card's game can only be used once per turn, which kind of sucks, but I get why, so you don't loop a bunch of Ben Ezel. But this card is obviously very necessary because this will pretty much unlock Sanctuary Guard every single turn. And this also makes it where like the Alt Mile engine kind of works too, because you can just use up all your counterblast, no problem. And then your Ben Ezel will just do your counter charge for your Sanctuary Guard, and then your Sanctuary Guard could just reuse that counter blast and then just restand itself, and then you'll be back with no counter blast. So you can always just do that with this card, with the Alt Mile engine. So of course you would run 4 because it's your Searcher and get some power for your Sanctuary Guard, along with some counter charging for your Sanctuary Guard. And then for your next grade ones, it could literally be anything. You could run Felix. Felix just bounces back one of your other units to your hand and gets plus 5k, so it could be a decent attacker or decent booster, but you don't really use that too often. Sometimes it's just attacker purposes. And also it can save your grade 1s, which is necessary for your Sanctuary Guard. And then next, Knight Squire Allen. You can run Marin too if you want, that's up to you. But the extra draw can be very helpful, and it's really no problem to use up all your counterblast because your Ben Ezel will just countercharge that back for Sanctuary Guard. And then here's a weird one that I never really would do, but because you're running low on grade 3s, I run the grade 3 Searcher, because grade 3 Searcher, and you're running less grade 3s in this deck for more grade 1s, so you could get your Sanctuary Guard ability, so you will actually want to just get some consistency. My starter is Amnosis, and then for my trigger lineup, I run the 8 crits, the 4 draw PGs, and then the 4 heals. Alright, so that's it for this deck profile. It was just simple and all that. One thing I really like about the Sanctuary Guard Dragon deck is that you can actually just mix this card with literally any engine. You can build it with Majesty Lord, where Majesty Lord's your first ride, but although there is a problem with the Majesty Lord part where you're going to be running a little more grade 2s. But Sanctuary Guard is a decent card that could be run in any Royal Paladin deck as a finisher, and that's one thing I really like about this card. And also the fact that it's a decent finisher and probably better than Excapate, in my opinion. And also the design was awesome. But other than that, you can actually leave some suggestions down below on what cards I could run. I am still waiting for the Jewel Knight engine, because I think the Jewel Knight engine works really well with this deck. Because, like I said, this card can work with pretty much anything. You can mix it with whatever build. But other than that, have a nice day.